Hey, what's up, guys? This is Metagoat coming to you today with a Greater Rift 20 build. This is what you're going to have when you do your last chapter of the season journey to get your 6 set. So, as you can see, I've got on my 4 set pieces and a whole bunch of random yellows that I got off the floor. I'm only using frenzy items. So Bastion's revered, undisputed champion. So these are essentially useless. We're not using frenzy in this build whatsoever. For the ring, if you have it, go ahead and use your band of might. If you don't actually need anything in the cube whatsoever. So I'm going to use Ring of Royal Grandeur for this. It's going to not do anything because only have 4 pieces on, so it's not giving us an extra set bonus. So I'm just going to run through a GR20, and this is the build I'm going to be running when I do it. This is Battle Rage Bloodshed, Whirlwind Wind Shear, Furious Charge, Merciless Assault, Threatening Shout, Falter, Rend, Bloodbath, Warcry, Vet Warning, and then for the passives, we're going to use Ruthless, Weapons Master, Brawler, and Rampage. I would go through and discuss all the different reasons we do this, but it's really, you guys don't care. This is how it works, though. So you're going to hop into a level 20, which is barely above Torment 4. Um, it's honestly, this is a joke. So this does not take very long at all. So kind of just hang out and watch, and I'll show you how the build is meant to be played. Just throw a couple Rens on things, and it will die. Your 2 set bonus makes your Ren do 500% more damage, and your 2 set also makes it last for 15 seconds. Your 4 set makes it do triple damage. So basically, if you throw Rend on something in a GR20, you will kill it. You will kill it. The only thing that you might have problems with is if you don't have a Band of Might, you could die. If you have a Band of Might on, you will not die. Guaranteed. So, Band of Might is something that you can get with Blood Shards on a level 1 barb. It's not difficult at all. I spent like 200 blood shards and got a Band of Might. So if you take that and mix it with your cash from the challenge rift, you'll get a Band of Might. It's really easy. Something I definitely recommend doing. It will just help you out. A lot of people go for damage items to help them through their leveling process, and I get that, it makes sense, but me, I like to live, and dying takes time. So more efficient to me is to, just because you kill things at a slightly slower pace doesn't mean that dying is ever going to be efficient. So Bandamite, I think, is just huge for this. Again, just rend things, they'll fall over. They fall over every time, especially the small stuff. This will activate rend on the other things. So it does 1100% weapon damage for every tick for 15 seconds. And if anything dies, it in an AoE around it will do 1500% damage to everything around it when it dies as well. Yep, killing elites is a joke. This build is actually super fun. Once you complete your chapter 2, the season journey, you can do this. So that's kind of what it looks like. I don't want to waste too much time, but I'm going to go ahead and show you what happens after you get your 6 set. This is something I think no one is telling you, is where you can actually go with this. once you complete your greater rift 20 and you get your actual 6 set, all you have to do is make sure that you have a band of might in your cube, because when you go up like this, you can die. Throw in your 6 set, 6 pieces, all yellows. The only thing useful in the cube that you're going to have is band of might. And you go from a level 20 to a torment 10. So you go straight to 45. Now, again, you need band of might. So if you don't have the band of might buff up, you can die. However, with that 6 set bonus, you do so much damage. It is insane. You can probably go higher than this. If you have any more legendaries than what I have on, you can probably go higher than this, but do not be afraid to go to T8, T9, T10 immediately after getting your 6 set. It's actually nuts how much damage this set does now with Rend on it. It's going to be a little bit slower than your 20, maybe, but bounce up as high as you can with this set. Like, immediately jump up to T10. I would say at least T9 if you're not as comfortable. If you don't have Band of Might, you're not going to be able to go as high because that 80% damage reduction is huge. But you can see, like, we're just flying through this, so just make sure you keep up your Band of Might buff. And once you get your 6 set, you'll just be flying through. This is the fastest way I know of to get Paragons early. And it was not this easy before they did this increase to Rend damage. Now, once you get a Ambo's Pride in the cube, this becomes a hell of a lot easier. And from that point, you're talking like whatever the highest you can survive is. So Ambo's Pride is everything. I actually really enjoy this setup now, because you don't really have to mess with anything other than your initial season journey until before you're actually doing T10. You don't have to mess around with like, oh, when I get this piece, I'll go up a couple levels. When I get this piece, I'll go up a couple levels. You can actually just jump into pretty close to in-game content and start farming the rest of your gear, getting your Bullcathos weapons and your Ambo's Pride and, you know, whatever you're going to use in the queue. Probably Aquila Cures. Check out my farming build that I've got on this channel. This is my first video on this channel. That is a really good place to start with getting your farming going. I'm a huge fan of starting out farming. If you're a solo player, I definitely recommend just farming a ton of Greater Rift keys and getting as many of your set items for, you know, the farming build. Get your entire farming build first and get a whole bunch of ancients through normal rifts. A lot of people don't tell you that, but once you get your gems up to the point where you're just flying through T16 at an accelerated rate, that's what you need to do first, is get your farming set for T16. And then after you've got a bunch of gear, then start doing greater rifts, because it is more efficient to go ahead and get keys that you're going to use later early on in the season. You don't need to murder through a whole bunch of Paragon. That will just happen on its own. And then once you're at like 700-800 Paragon, then start using all your keys. And that's for a solo player. If you have a group, you know exactly what you're doing. You've been doing this for years and years and years. Do whatever you want, man. Like, get with your group and farm out those high level Paragons. But if you're a solo player, I'm telling you, start with your farming set. Start with your farming set every time. Every single time. But hopefully this guide helps you out. Um, this is what I fully intend to do as soon as the season starts. Obviously, you can do this on your own, but if you're running with a group of 4 barbs, this is going to be nuts. I think my plan is going to have a bunch of guys running barbs together. So this should be what we're going to do as soon as we hit 70. And the fact that we can run into T1 and do split bounties at T1 is going to be nuts. Highly recommend doing this for all of you guys. So my name is Mitigoat. I'm going to go to class. It is 7 o'clock in the morning, and I have to be there at 8. It's a little bit of a drive. So if you guys like this video, drop a like, comment, subscribe if you want to look at this horrible face some more, hear my amazingly monotone voice a little bit more, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. But if it helped you out, for real, if it helped you out, tell me in the comments that it helped you out. That'll encourage me to do more of these. And if it didn't help, tell me if it didn't help too. Tell me if this did not work for you for whatever reason. Yeah, that's it. My name is Mitigoat. Peace.